Welcome to the Kino Cave, and today is the beginning of a new series I'm starting called Costuming Chronicles. So first off the bat, I apologize for the slightly poor quality of the way the camera is positioned. I'm actually in the process of moving at the moment, so there's stuff everywhere. It is a mess on the other side of this camera, so I apologize if I seem a little bit too close and if it's like off angle and things like that. That'll be fixed in the next video. Without any further ado, today I'm talking about the history of Deadpool's costumes. So you guys really seem to respond well to the Superman costuming video. I got a lot of great views, a lot of great comments, and people generally seem to like the behind the scenes videos that I do where I research a certain aspect of a film, usually the costumes or the special effects, and I give a rundown of how it was designed and created. So I'm calling it Costuming Chronicles, where I go in depth into the creation of a costume from a particular film or TV series. And today is the turn of Deadpool. So Deadpool doesn't have a whole lot of costumes throughout film and TV history. I didn't bother going into the X-Men Origins one because, come on. He's only really had 2 costumes throughout his 3 live-action films. So I wanted this to be a shorter video since, as I said, I'm in the process of moving, so I don't have a whole lot of time to be recording videos at the moment. But we'll be back to regular videos. This is going to be a bit of a shorter one, and there's not a whole pile of information found here, but it's still interesting nonetheless. So I'm not the hugest fan of Deadpool. I enjoyed the movies. They were pretty funny, although a little dated. And the comic character is pretty cool. The game is pretty fun. I know that a lot of people have a lot of opinions on Deadpool, but I don't really care all that much about the character. I don't hate him, and I don't love him either. He's just a fun character to me. The comic character was created by Fabian Nicienza. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that name. It's a hard name to pronounce. And infamous artist Rob Liefeld, responsible for images such as this one, and this one, but also responsible for the design of Deadpool. So Deadpool premiered in New Mutants issue 98 in 1990 or 1991. There are conflicting dates. Apparently the date is 1991, but it was actually released in 1990. So the date is a little bit messy there, but it's around that time. Plain and simple, Deadpool was created as a piss take. He was a deliberate parody of Deathstroke from DC Comics. Their names are almost exactly the same. Deathstroke's real name is Slade Wilson, and Deadpool's real name is Wade Wilson. So it's a pretty obvious piss take. They have pretty much the same weapons. They're both mercenaries or assassins or whatever you want to call it. They have a similar design, so it's a pretty clear parody. And the other inspiration for Deadpool was Spider-Man, and Rob Liefeld has owned up to the fact that he basically ripped off Spider-Man's design, especially in the mask. This is a quote from Rob Liefeld. "I specifically told Marvel he's Spider-Man with guns and swords. The idea was he is a jackass." And that's basically the rundown of Deadpool's design. I do think it's a cool design, albeit highly derivative, but it is pretty cool, and the character would kind of come into his own through personality more so than the actual design of the character. It's very 90s with the guns and the swords and the kind of edgy humor that they would be doing. He's kind of just like, the movies kind of portray him as basically like if Peter Griffin was a superhero, but I think that the original comic book character is pretty interesting, albeit like very much deep-seated into that 90s edge. So moving on to the cinematic designs of Deadpool from Deadpool 1 and 2. This is a little embarrassing, but on IMDb the costume designer is different to the costume designer found on like YouTube and other websites, so I actually could not tell you who exactly designed the costume from Deadpool 1 and 2. So yeah, take everything I say with a grain of salt, really. I found one video on the making of the suit, and that's pretty much it. Russell Schinkel, who was credited as a specialty costume designer, is pretty much the only consistent name I could find. and he talked about the creation process in one of the behind the scenes videos. So he goes on to say that finding the right shade of red was specifically difficult in the fabric. They had to find a red fabric and then dye it. So they like to treat it as if they came up with a Deadpool red, their own kind of specific color for the costume. They created the mask before they even finalized the design. They took great importance in the mask for one reason being that it's an extremely iconic look for Deadpool, the most iconic aspect of the Deadpool costume by far. And they also had to put a lot of technology into it in order to make it comfortable for Ryan Reynolds to wear it. So they have all this technology in there to make sure that he can breathe properly and also to reduce sweating. So one example that was in the video is that they would take off the black eyes between takes so a bit of air could get into the mask so Ryan Reynolds could be comfortable. They specifically used a stretchy kind of a fabric so that Ryan Reynolds and the stunt team could move around comfortably in that. I do quite like when costume designers take special care for the practicality of the costume, because the one aspect of superhero costumes that I always find a little bit annoying is that it doesn't look realistically like something a superhero could fit in and be comfortable in. Mostly to do with the Batman costumes, like when Michael Keaton does the stupid turn because he can't move his neck and he very clearly walks all stiffly like he can't move. I love that costume, but it is kind of funny. Like you don't expect him to be able to like fight and even drive in that suit. So I like when costume designers take special care, like with Deadpool, where it looks very comfortable and it looks like something that you could actually move around and fight and run in. So I think the Deadpool 1 and 2 costume is probably one of the most comic accurate suits to ever be created. It's very much a translation from comic to film. I love the way the mask looks. All the pattern is very much the same. It looks tactical without looking over designed. There's really not too many negative aspects to it. It's a pretty ideal Deadpool costume. So on to Deadpool 3. Shockingly, because the movie isn't out yet for another like 3 weeks, there is basically no information on the costume design. So maybe I'll make a follow-up video to this in like 2 years when the Blu-ray comes out and all this information comes out. But honestly, the suit is like no different to the previous suit. So there's not much I can really say about the Deadpool 3 costume as of yet, because all I can go off is based on the look of it from the trailers for the film and the behind the scenes looks. The black stripe down the middle is weird and unnecessary. I don't really like, why is it there? There's already enough black on the suit. Why do we need that stripe? But anyway, and the only real improvement I think it makes is that the red is a little bit brighter so that you can see it a bit better. And that's kind of it, really. So that was the costuming chronicles of Deadpool's cinematic costumes. I might get into the X-Men Origins Wolverine one, but it's the first suit is a red t-shirt and the second look is just prison pants and makeup. So I don't think there's going to be anything interesting there. So without further ado, like this video if you liked it. I know it's a short one and it's not a great one because I couldn't find a lot of information on the suit. So if you have any info about the making of the Deadpool suit, drop a comment below and let me know about it, and maybe I'll make a follow-up video to this if I find more information. But I just wanted to post a short one today because there's a lot going on right now with moving and everything, so I wasn't able to make the best quality video today, but rest assured the Wolverine movie review is coming out in 10 days time and I'm gonna put a lot of effort into that one, so stay tuned for that. I hope you have a really great day.